What's going on, people? Not for the radio. NFTR, myself, Duane Jones. We got Posty in the building. We got Chams in the building. And another special guest, one of my favorite artists in recent times. He goes by the name of Bonkaz. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us, bro.
Thanks for having me, man.
So, I mean, it's been a roller coaster 2016 for you. You dropped Mixtape of the Year. Everyone was feeling that. And then some headlines hit the papers, hit the internet about previous charges.
Yep.
So what's the last couple of weeks been like for you, man?
Kinda, it's weird, man. It's kind of been humbling in a sense, you know what I mean? Like, I've always kind of been humble. I never really got gassed, but it's kind of shown me that anything can happen at any moment. Do you know what I'm saying? I was kind of like, I've been living in a dream for the last year. Do you know what I mean? Like, a complete dream, waking up and just doing exactly what I want to do with no worries and no stresses. And it's been like very different to like how life was before music. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's been kind of humbling, and it's kind of shown me a lot of things, shown me that I've got a lot of support and a lot of love around me as well, and kind of just made me evaluate things, man.
Yeah, no, of course. I think everyone sort of wants to hear your point of view on obviously the past charges. Could you start from the top? Let us know how it kind of all started. So, like, the first charge, what was you convicted for and wasn't convicted for?
So in all, there's two convictions, one of which involved two different charges. So that one was false imprisonment and blackmail. That's what they're talking about, the kidnap case. But I wasn't actually convicted of kidnap. It was false imprisonment and blackmail. And the other one is sexual assault, where they've said that I've touched someone's bum.
So let's address the first case now. Reading it online, it said stuff like you were involved in the kidnapping of a disabled man, and the fact that he was tortured and all these kind of things. Are you saying that you wasn't convicted for that particular charge?
No, not the kidnap itself. So basically what happened, somebody was kidnapped, and like they've used the word disabled. I guess it makes it look as though it's like someone that's not physically able. Do you know what I mean? Like a random guy that maybe can't walk or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It looks really extreme. It's a lifestyle that we were all living at the time, and the victim included was kind of like involved in the lifestyle. So there was a lot of back and forth problems in the ends between like my people and his people, do you know what I mean? Which he was involved in as well. It doesn't make it right what happened, but it's a able guy that's able to, you know, get involved in this lifestyle and whatever. So yeah, so basically what happened was somebody was kidnapped. I wasn't there at the time they were kidnapped, but I came to the premises that he was being held afterwards, and I was convicted by way of joint enterprise, which basically means I'm here, I'm present, I know what's going on, and I haven't tried to stop it, or I haven't tried to call the police or anything like that. So yeah, I think with the articles, they're always gonna find like the deepest word in that. The biggest charge in that is kidnap. Do you know what I mean? So they're gonna say Bonkaz convicted for kidnap, but that's not actually on my list of convictions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, false imprisonment and blackmail, which means I was there, I was present, and I knew what was going on.
Did you fear that these charges would surface in the press at some stage?
It's so weird because, like I said, I've just been living in a dream, man. Do you know what I mean? And it was like, 6 years ago now. So, like, even ever since they happened, ever since I came out of prison or anything, like, I've always just tried to leave it behind me. And maybe that was my mistake, just getting complacent and kind of, like, I've been living, like, waking up and chatting to my PR, chatting to my manager, chatting to my team about tomorrow and about next week and about next month. Like, that's how I've been living for the last year or two. Literally just waking up and planning ahead, and everything that we're planning is going to plan, and I'm just on this straight path, and I'm so happy. And it's kind of like the first period of my life that my mum's ever been worry-free. Do you know what I mean? Because like we had like a heart-to-heart not too long ago, and she opened up and she admitted that back in the day, she used to have sleepless nights when I was out, you know what I mean? When I'm out running around my friends or whatever. And she just used to think, is this boy gonna come home and the police gonna knock on the door and say that he's dead? And I never ever thought of it like that at the time. So now I've just been kind of like in this dream world where it's like everything is perfect. Everyone's proud of me. I've never been the one that everyone's been proud of. In school, I used to get in trouble. Anytime a teacher phoned home, it was for something bad. Every parent's evening I was dreading, do you know what I mean? So now I kind of got myself into a position where everyone's proud. Every time my phone rings, it's a family member. Yo, I'm so proud of you. I get a random message here, and it just felt so good, do you know what I mean? So I kind of tried to block everything out in my mind, and I didn't feel like I feel like I'm completely not the person that I was 6 years ago. Do you know what I mean?
How old was you at the time?
I think I just turned 18.
Okay, so you were 18, so 6 years ago. So was that the first thing that you were arrested for, that particular charge?
No, I got arrested for that after. The sexual assault, where they said I touched a girl's bum, is what I got arrested for first.
Okay, so let's dive into that, because I think that's what people are more talking about on social media.
Yeah.
What I've read and come across, it kind of stated that it says words like paedophile.
Yeah.
It says words like grope a 12-year-old. Can you tell us the setting of the whole incident? Where were you? What were you accused of, and how did it happen?
I was accused of touching a girl's bum. I think they said she was 13. And basically, I was riding on a pedal bike, like in my cousin's area or whatever. I've been pulled over, and like at this point, 18 years old, I'm used to that. Do you know what I mean? Police jump on me, like it's either a stop and search or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just thinking it's like a routine kind of thing. And I could see them like talking to each other and like on their walkie-talkies or whatever. Then they've come back to me and started talking about like touching a girl's bum. So I'm baffled, but I'm not, at this point, I'm not worried. I'm not like, oh shit, like what's going on here? I'm just like, all right, cool, this isn't me. And I'm relieved because I'm thinking like, maybe I don't know, like it's something I actually have done. Do you know what I mean? And they're jumping on me and I'm like, oh shit, what's going on? They started talking about touching a girl's bum. And I'm kind of just relieved more than anything, do you know what I mean? So they've nicked me, gone to the police station, interview, released, like it's all taken a couple hours. And then I'm just back on the road and it's like, all right, whatever, do you know what I mean? They've nicked me for something I haven't done that's gonna blow over. And it was never really like, I remember times I got arrested and my mum would be bugging out, like even my mum wasn't bugging out this time, do you know what I mean? She's like, oh, that's what they arrested you for. All right, cool, don't worry about it. They'll find the person that done it, do you know what I mean? And then it was kind of just like, blown out of my mind, and I was literally on road just doing what I was doing. And then a few weeks later, I got arrested for the kidnap. And then there was no bail with that one. That one I was like straight to jail, and then everything kind of just flipped upside down. I was just in prison now.
So let's where did they apparently say that this groping actually occurred?
They said it was like the area where I was. This is the next day after. That's when I got arrested.
Yeah.
So it happened this day, and then the next day afterwards, that's when it happened, do you know what I mean? And then they were saying like, yeah, you fit the description. But I'm like, what's the description? They're saying like a black male on a bike. And I'm thinking like, are you being serious? Like a black male on a bike? There's black males on bikes everywhere, do you know what I mean? So yeah, they said that it happened like in the area where I was or whatever. Someone touched their bum, they've arrested me as a black male on a bike. And I think like everyone else who got arrested for it, because it's in this area.
Oh, so you weren't the only person arrested for that?
No, and I was told that basically, like, I was told people got arrested and then everyone that got arrested was friends, innit? There was like 3 or 4 other people or whatever. So they must have obviously turned around and said, yo, we've all got nicked, but this guy's got nicked too. We're just going to say it's him, do you know what I mean? And I think everyone got dismissed and then it was just me left.
Okay. So when I've read the press and that kind of stuff, yet again, they're painting a different picture. I'm seeing, like I said before, you see the words paedophile, you see, it sounds more than what you've just explained. What you've explained sounds like a simple case of being misjudged or being accused of something you haven't done, and it just seems like they've completely blown it out of proportion.
Yeah. But I think the reasoning for that is like, it's deeper than me, do you know what I mean? I think with the media or whatever, like the paper that printed it, they've got an issue with the BBC, do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So
what paper was that?
Daily Mirror, I think.
Okay.
So they've got an issue with the BBC, which has been going on for years. So they've kind of dug deep and found one day that I was on BBC and used that as the headline. So they're saying BBC invites paedophile on for a show or whatever. But it's so mad because there isn't one radio station in the country that plays rap that I haven't been on. Do you know what I mean? So they've basically dug deep and found a way to sell their story. So BBC paedophile, it just links in with Jimmy Savile and all of these crazy, like, disgusting things that happen. Do you know what I'm saying? So they've put me in that box to sell a story, which I think is crazy.
So in terms of your case itself, Bonkaz, so there was a few things that I think there's a lack of clarity on. So I think that majority of boys that I know growing up, and girls, you know, even if you were stopped for grabbing a girl's bottom, I'm not saying it's something that should be condoned, but most people wouldn't realise that it was a serious offence.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lack of clarity there. People, for as long as I've known, have, you know, probably encountered these type of things. They're not right, but people have never known the severity of it. There's not enough clarity in the press to say, okay, this is wrong. So, and then also with your trial, I believe that you was encouraged to go guilty. Is that right?
No, I went not guilty, but I was just like poorly advised legally throughout the whole kind of, because it was just really one day. Like, I got arrested on bail. Like I said, I went to prison shortly after for the other thing. So I'm in prison now, and like, this is not even in my mind. My whole thing is like, I've pleaded guilty. I've got to wait for the trial though. Everyone else, like, there's about 4 other people on my case that went not guilty. So the ones that went guilty had to wait for their trial to be over to get our sentences. So I'm kind of going like back and forth in my mind, thinking about what sentence am I gonna get. And I've been told it's between 3 years and 6 years and all of these things. And I'm just literally in jail mode right now. Do you know what I mean? And then they've came to my cell one day like, yeah, you've got to go court this morning. And I'm thinking like, I've got my case papers. I know when I'm going court, because I'm thinking it's for the kidnap charge. Thinking, I know when I'm going court, I don't need to go court until I'm sentenced again. But then they're saying, yeah, it's like Bromley Magistrates Court and it's for this. And I'm like, oh shit, like, I'm actually going court for this, do you know what I mean? So I've gone court, and like, this is the first time I've met this duty solicitor or barrister, whatever, like one of them things. So I met this woman, and she just like going through the papers with me, and she's like, look, there is not one piece of evidence here against you. Like, if I was you, I wouldn't worry. It's all good. She said, look, you go magistrates, it's like a less serious setting, because I've only been crowned before for the other thing. She's like, yeah, go magistrates, it's a less serious setting, go in there, tell your story, you'll be good. I've gone into this room with this woman that's just said to me, there's no evidence, everything's gonna be okay. And no, there's no jury, it's just like a magistrate, just one man, do you know what I mean? So I've gone into this room with the same woman that just told me there's no evidence, everything's gonna be cool. And this magistrate's looking at me and he's saying stuff like, I understand that you're currently incarcerated for something else, which you pleaded guilty to, like, this shows me what I need to know about your character, and 15 minutes later I'm convicted.
So obviously in this case it seems that you've been given advice poorly. You're unclear about the rules and regulations of this because there's a lack of clarity there.
Yeah.
And then obviously you've been judged on your current situation.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just want. So, like, moving forward with that, like, you know, what is your impression of, you know, how things could be perceived to other people? How could things be better there? Because I know that's something that you might potentially be able to be a voice of.
Yeah, definitely, and that's kind of like one of the main things that I've been thinking for the past week or two is literally just like, because for my whole life I've been taking negatives and turning them into positives, you know what I mean? For my whole life, like my whole situation, even looking at this and seeing I was once in prison, now I'm doing music and I'm progressing and I'm living like a better life, do you know what I mean? So I'm always thinking how to take negatives and turn it into positives. And right now it's like, there must be a lot of people that's in similar situations to what I was when I was 18, do you know what I mean? You just don't know the law, you don't know your rights, you're gonna go to court and allow someone to tell you this is what you should do, there's no evidence, you're gonna be fine, and 15 minutes later you're convicted, and it's crazy, like it's unfair, and I can see how it can happen to a lot of people if someone doesn't stand up and be like, yo, read into this, like understand your rights. First of all, just try and stay out of trouble. Try not to even get into those kind of situations, but people need to know their rights, man.
Yeah, because I'm sure, I mean, even the timing was wrong for you, because joint enterprise, it's recently been discovered that joint enterprise has been misinterpreted in the law for like, I think it's been like 10 years or something, that people have been reading it wrong and assuming that was overturned before your trial, it would have been a different result. So I think that's also important to know.
Were you offered? Sorry to cut you, Viz. Were you offered any deals to kind of get off of your actual first charge, the second charge, the kidnapping case.
The kidnapping case.
Yeah, did they ever say, you know, if you tell us more or something, we can reduce the sentence?
When I actually got arrested, so before I even went to court, like I'm in the police car and the police are kind of like trying to convince me to say who done what and all of these things, you know what I mean? But I think just part of the lifestyle that I was living at the time, that just wasn't something that you do you know what I mean? Like you're in this situation, you're with your friends, and you can't turn around and just be like, oh, it was them and it wasn't me, do you know what I mean? Like the truth of the matter is, there's people that played a much bigger role in that offence than myself, which is why some people got like 8 years and I got 3 years, you know what I'm saying? But you still just, you know, you don't turn around and say, oh, it was him and it was him and it was him.
Of course. Now, in layman's terms, what I mean is if for the people watching that are just like us, basically what I'm saying, did they say if you snitch, you can get off the whole case, basically?
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, they told me that.
All right, cool.
But yeah, that's just it's a lifestyle that I was living at the time, and that was like, you know, there's like a code, there's rules to it, do you know what I mean? And simple things that, especially at that time, you follow. And that's kind of why I was so surprised that the police were even involved, because, like I said, the victim was a part of that lifestyle too. Do you know what I mean?
So just returning to the emotive words that Posty was saying that the press, the tabloids were using, like paedophile and stuff. When you read that about yourself, you know, with your name in it, how did that make you feel?
It's like, I can't even explain the feeling. It's like emptiness almost, you know what I mean? You just kind of like, I saw it, someone sent me it, and I just read it, and I'm just thinking like, this is so bad. You know what I mean? Just so bad, like.
And then when you saw the backlash on like, you know, social media and stuff like that, for people that may have or may have not been fans, particularly the ones that were fans and now kind of have turned their back on you, how did that make you feel?
Like, it's weird though, because I've had like maybe like 1,000 messages of support. Do you know what I mean? Literally like 1,000 messages of like, from fans, industry people, artists, like people all across the board just showing their support to me, like, which has made me feel good. Because when you read like your name next to certain words, automatically you just feel like, yeah, this is over. Do you know what I mean? Like the dream is over now, because it doesn't matter about the facts when a newspaper prints stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Unless you actually come out and clear it up. And like, I wanted to come out and clear it up straight away. I was advised by like my team and everyone not to say anything. And this is kind of like the first time I've ever gone against the advice of my team, because they said literally just go low, don't say anything. And I've done it for like a day or two. And I just had to just like go against what they said and just come out and speak, because it's more of a personal thing than a music business thing right now. Do you know what I mean? Because they're putting my name next to those words, and I couldn't just like stay low. I had to come out and speak.
Did it, what in terms of your music though, how did it make you feel? Obviously, we're not undermining anything that anybody's been through in these cases or the events that took place. You know, what's wrong is wrong, but you also mentioned that you've been roped into what seems to be a vendetta against the BBC from certain sectors of the press. What did it make? How did it make you feel as an artist though? Did it make you feel like you want to continue being creative and putting music out, or just kind of quit?
No, like this is, like making music is literally what I was born to do. Do you know what I mean? It's literally like my whole life is my only way of expression. If you ask people that spend like a lot of time around me, they'll tell you like I'm very quiet, very reserved and kind of to myself. Sometimes I get, you know, gas and whatever, but I'm very quiet and reserved, and I don't really speak just for the sake of speaking. Do you know what I mean? Like my songs and my lyrics is my way of expressing, almost just like my way of talking. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's out of the question. Me just like stopping music is out of the question. And I think if I just take this line down and don't come out and clear it up, then, because these like things happen, right? And maybe a week later something else will happen and everyone's attention will be elsewhere. But I feel like if I allow everyone's attention to go elsewhere without me clearing it up, and the last thing they see is the words that the newspaper print, then that's what it is, and that's how they're going to take it. Do you know what I mean?
How did we saw some negative responses on social media from, you know, fans of music and people that are aware of you and whatnot. But how did your fellow artists react, either on social media or
I've
directly?
had a lot of love, man. Like a lot of artists, a lot of rappers have hit me up. I was on the phone, like I've been on the phone to rappers like hour conversation here, half an hour conversation there. Stormzy sent me like a long message last night. He just came to my mind and he just wanted to kind of keep my spirits up, do you know what I mean? But that's obviously like a good friend of mine from way before music anyway. So like people are supporting, and I think people can see it for what it is. There's always gonna be trolls. Like a troll wakes up and thinks, how do I make people laugh today? Do you know what I mean? Literally, if he doesn't make people laugh today, his day was irrelevant. It's not his job to find the truth and, you know, empathize and really understand the situation. It's just his job to think, how can I make people laugh using this situation?
Was you looking at all the reactions, or did you kind of just switch off?
Nah, I just switched off, man. I just switched off. Because I look at it now like I've got a job here to do, do you know what I mean? I've got a job to do which is much bigger than Twitter memes and jokes and people trying to make people laugh, do you know what I mean? And I feel like whilst I'm doing this, whilst I'm fighting against this, I have to really keep my spirits up. Do you know what I mean? I have to be ready to fight it, and everyone around me just keeps reminding me that I need to keep my spirits up. And seeing all of these things, naturally, it could get you down. Do you know what I mean?
What about the platforms? Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same thing. Obviously, you're into fashion as well. You're an artist, so you're quite dependent on different brands and corporations and so on and so forth. So I think that's what Shams, is that what you're going to say?
Exactly.
On the same wavelength.
Yeah, well, like I'm still like, even just as recent as today, I'm still getting like gifts through the door from brands and stuff, just like as I always have. So I think it's like, it's subjective, innit? Some people are going to look at it one way and others are going to look at it other ways. And a lot of the time it kind of depends on your relationship with a brand or with a person or something, do you know what I mean? So some people can kind of look at it and be like, I can see what it is and keep in touch or whatever. Some other people might be like, yo, I see what it is, I understand what's happening, but just because of the heat, I can't be, do you know what I mean? And people are always going to react differently to stuff, and that's just how it goes, man.
More directly, how I want people to understand this is that, you know, that you are a growing up person. I don't want to say a middle-aged man because you are almost, like 26 or something like that.
24.
You know what I mean? And this is your career, this is your life. You know what I'm saying? You're probably providing for the people around you, and I feel like this is the truth that you're telling the world, and it all makes sense. So I want our people and our generation and your fans and everyone that's listening to really understand that is it right now. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So even with like what I'm about, and I think all what we're about here today is empowering ourselves. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Chams empowers girls every day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I take Posty seriously.
Obviously, you know, there's 3 other major platforms in this music game that are always gonna continue to support you. And so I just feel like you should just carry on doing what you're doing and just know that people are supporting you. You get what I'm trying to say? And whoever wants to jump on the bandwagon afterwards can do so. You know? That's
been like my main kind of like outlook on it. Is like, I'm looking at it as a thing where I've just got to assess it and see what I've got. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to think about who isn't messing with me right now, whatever. Most of the jokes and the most like opinionated people in the situation are people that have probably never ever bought one of my songs or watched one of my videos. They had nothing to say about Bonkaz until there was negativity going on. Do you know what I mean? So I don't look at it like everyone that's saying bad stuff is someone that I've lost. It's someone that wasn't interested until negative stuff started coming up. Do you know what I mean?
No, of course.
So after Mixtape of the Year, Forgive Me When I'm Famous EP, what are you concentrating on moving forward, or are you not concentrating on music at the moment? Are you just looking to continue to talk and reference this situation?
No, I don't think. I'm concentrating on music, man. That's literally me. That's my whole life. Do you know what I mean? And I think the whole EP, like the EP I done last year, Forgive Me When I'm Famous, it's kind of like the title is so important right now as well. Do you know what I mean? Because the reason why I had that title there was a couple of reasons, but one of them is that obviously I've been involved in bad stuff in the past and I'm working towards a goal. The goal isn't fame, but fame is a byproduct of achieving that goal. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, Forgive Me When I'm Famous. I'm looking into doing Forgive Me When I'm Famous Part 2 now. Like, I'm even more motivated to do that, do you know what I mean? And I got an NBA project that I done with Renz. We're going to do Part 2 to that and just keep the wave going, man. I feel like, what's that Kanye tune, Waves Don't Die? That's how I feel right now. Like, when you're born to do something, they can't kill it. Like, only you can kill it. Only if I lie down and accept something that's not true as the truth and just back away and back into a corner, then I've killed the wave, but no one else is in control of that.
Recently seen some pictures on the internet floating about with you and Drake on your Instagram. Talk to us about that day. Unfortunately, was you there?
No, man. I was actually ill. But I was on the guest list, though. So, just putting that out there.
Just putting that out there. Was you on the guest list, Chams?
I was.
Don't lie.
I was allowed in.
I'm the only
was you
one
not
that
allowed in?
Probably not. Probably not.
Sorry to hear that.
Do you know what? I swear I didn't even know about it.
They don't really want me there. They just want my models there. But they have to put me and Lena, otherwise no one else is coming.
All right. One person that was there, Section Boys, right?
Yeah.
Big up to the Section Boys.
That's
killing
family,
it.
man.
So you was down there, you was performing, and Drake come out. Was that a planned thing? What was that like for you lot?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a planned thing. I didn't know about it though. I didn't know. I was literally there and I was like in the backstage bit because I'd already performed. I was in the backstage bit and then I just saw Drake come down the stairs and it was so weird because I'm like in one corner chilling and he's come downstairs with like all his people and he started having a conversation. And then he's looked over to me and like he stopped his conversation and he's like, English you, like he literally came up to me and said, "Well, go on, my brother." I was like, "Right," like, but I'm thinking like, does he know who I am? Do you know what I mean? Did he do that because he knows who I am, or is he just being polite? But there's other people in the room, and he just came to me, and it was so surreal, but also so natural. Do you know what I mean? It just felt like a man-to-man kind of vibe. Like I didn't feel like I was in the room with like one of the biggest artists in the world, and I didn't feel like any less of an artist in his presence. Do you know what I'm saying? He's got that real like natural down to earth vibe about him and I feel like he likes England a lot because he's from Canada and Canada and England is very similar. That's what a lot of people don't know.
Toronto and London, yeah.
Yeah, Toronto and London.
A lot of similarities.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a sick vibe as well. Like when he went up on the stage, it was mad, the crowd went crazy, like proper sick vibes.
So have you kept in contact? Because post that event, he posted a picture of you and him and shouted you out and stuff. So
yeah, no, we ain't been like speaking or anything like that. We didn't exchange numbers on
Okay.
But yeah, like he posted the picture a couple of days later, just showing love or whatever, you know.
You know, definitely. Well, I think, you know, tough times are made for tough people, you know? And like you said, you turn your negatives to positives, you know, and we're here to support you. Get what I'm trying to say? So as long as the people know that there's some new music coming, that's all we're going to give them, man, you know?
Of course.
We'll see you again soon, though.
You?
Yeah. We will, innit? We'll see him again soon. We ended here. So Posty sounded like it was closing. I was like...
was that a close? That was a close.
Was it, Posty? Was it a close or not?
I don't even know what you're
thinking about it, innit?
You get me?
Sick.
I was thinking about some booty right
Now, make sure you get Forgive Me When I'm Famous, the EP. Make sure you go get Mixtape of the... You should be doing this, but I'll do it for you. Mixtape of the Year out now as well. And we look forward to new music in the future, bro.
100%.
One of the most creative out there, trust me.
Bro.
Don't listen to the press,
you.
man. Don't listen to the press, man.
#NFTR.